You got to get sleeping. I mean, really sleeping. For me, sleep is easy. It was difficult at one time. Last night when I went to bed at 2 o'clock, because I just spoke in Dallas and had to fly here in the air, and I fly American Airlines, which should be late airlines, you know. But I know how to efficiently sleep. I put my brain tap on, put it on Delta. I get 2 hours of deep sleep in 4 hours. I got a 97 sleep score this morning. How about you? I don't say, oh my God, I went to sleep at 2 o'clock, poor me. My dad was an alcoholic, poor me. I'm stupid, poor me. Sister Barbara liked me so much, she had me in second grade twice. I was really smart, but Sister Barbara was an idiot. She had me twice. You know, all these things are about me. They're not about you. They're not about anything else, because if I don't work on myself, what do you care about my problems? Nobody cares about your problems. You should care about them, and you should rise above them and teach other people how to rise above them. Exactly. So why do we need to sleep? Your brain, the most powerful computer on earth, 100 billion neural bit processor, gifted to you by the Creator to solve problems, to create wealth, to create abundance, to create heaven on earth, can either be used to create that or it can destroy you. Sleep is when you incubate those superpowers. But it also is when you clean your brain. Guess what? If you don't get that level 4 sleep, at least an hour of level 4 sleep, you never detox your brain. Your brain has something called the glial lymphomic system. I'm not going to get too scientific, but the glial lymphomic system is that part of the brain that opens up. In 2016, the medical community discovered that we had a lymphatic system in our brain. Now, if you're an exercise physiologist or you're a doctor, you know that wherever there's a blood vessel, there's a lymphatic vessel. That's the garbage man of the system. This is why a lot of people don't lose weight. Why my dad was 400 pounds, my mother was 350 pounds. Because their lymphatic system wasn't moving, because it doesn't have a heart. It has to move and breathe, like yoga, tai chi, breath work. This is what moves the lymphatic system. Your brain only opens up that system when you sleep, when you get level 4 sleep. Once you do that, you're going to find your superpowers get activated. Because now, if you don't sleep for 2 straight days, we know scientifically it's like drinking 3 beers. If you don't get good sleep 2 nights in a row, that 3rd day, you're going to be walking around like a drunk person. Or at least I believe. I know some people can drink more than 3 beers, but that is what I believe. So we need to activate that brain. Now, most of you haven't done this yet, but you're going to go and do this, right? Say yes. You're going to get, okay, so watch this. This is just a virtual reality of doing it. So you're going to put this on, your eyes are closed, the lights are going to work through retinal flashing. Why would we do it in the eyes? Your eyes have, by space, have more mitochondria than any other part of your body. Mitochondria's whole job is to absorb light and transmit light. Now I'm going to blow your minds here a little bit because most people think this is a metaphysical concept, but this isn't about metaphysics, this is about science. Everyone in this room is an infrared light generator. Does everybody here know somebody named Tom Brady? You ever heard of him? Okay. My science officer who's sitting over there right now, Francisco Cedral, holds the patent on his clothing. It's called TB12, recovery wear. Tom Brady won't tell you this because he's 40-something years old. He's a great athlete. He says, buy my clothes, you can be just like me. Why does his clothing work? Because Francisco put together clothing that has ceramics in it that reflect back our own infrared light. You are a light generator. When you walk in the room, you're either making the room brighter or you're making it dimmer. We all know those people, right? They walk in the room and the lights go down. Hey, what just happened? We either have gainers in our life or we have drainers in our life. You want to be a gainer and you want to take those drainers and flip the switch. That's the main deal here. And we do that by getting energy into our brain. How we get energy in our brain is light. Just a little lesson here. Light is absorbed by the hemoglobin in our blood. It circulates through the body and finds a cell that's about to die. It's called apoptosis. That cell then, like a magnet attracting metal, will attract that photic energy. It will restart the Krebs cycle. It turns your cells back on. You are not designed to die. You are designed to live. So what if we could live better because we have more energy? When you walk in the room, boom, Boom. You're sending energy everywhere. You don't tiptoe into the room. You're awakened. You step in the room. I'm here. It's like that song, it's like you stepped onto a yacht. That's the way you need to show up. Who cares if they're not going to listen? You want those ears that are listening, and those other people will ask later. They'll go, oh, you know, I heard what you said, but what are you doing? They want, what you have, because you're demonstrating it, not because you're telling them about it. We need to get the brain lit with energy and light. We're putting lights in the ears. When you saw those ear lights, people go, what do you got those red and blue lights for? Science has shown us that if you look at, they call it sun gazing, it's a little weird, but you look at the sun at sunrise and sunset, and we can reset your gut biome if you do that 21 straight days. It's clinically proven. So I said, wow, what if we could hack that? What if I could take some of this ancient traditions and make some modern technology out of it? That'd be cool, wouldn't it? Yeah. So what I did was I took that same light frequencies and I put them in the ears. Because guess what? Every cell of your body is listening, seeing, experiencing, and demonstrating your reality. When she said every fiber of your being is imbued with greatness, every DNA strand in your body is changing every 40 seconds. You heard me right. Every DNA strand in your body is changing every 40 seconds, and it's being changed by something called biophotic exchange. You are a light being, changing every cell of your body every 40 seconds based on the people you hang around with, the foods or supplements you consume, the air you breathe, the environment you're in. While you're here, guess what? You're getting an upgrade. You're getting a biological upgrade. You will never be the same after leaving this experience. You can't go back. You can't say, I don't know what that is. You're now being, I'm telling you, you're now being put on awareness that you can change your brain. 20 years ago, I couldn't say that because people didn't believe it. It's true, we can. Now, how do we do that? In nature, we do this all the time. How many people like going to the ocean? Excellent. So when you go to the ocean, you're sitting down, you're chilling out, you're thinking, wow, this is great. The waves, you're listening to the waves, the lights. Your body, by the way, every cell is listening, experiencing every frequency around you. The frequency of the ocean, if you and I were on Ashley's spaceship and we're flying to Earth, because you must be an alien doing all that stuff, right? So when we fly toward Earth, we see the Earth there. The Earth has resonant frequencies between 0.05 and 100. Guess what else has an evoked potential between 0.05 and 100? The human brain. Is that a coincidence? I don't think so. How many people saw the tsunami, the footage of the tsunami when people were running out after the waves? There were no animals killed in that show because all the animals left the area. They were in tune with the environment. People weren't. They could feel and sense what was going on. We are not just on the earth, we are part of the earth. We have something in the National Institute of Health calls your biosphere. You have a sphere of energy around you. We can measure your heart rate from 18 feet away. Scientifically speaking now, it's not a metaphysical concept anymore. It's not a chakra, auras. These are energy centers that we now know in science are true and factual. This isn't religion. This is true factual information we're talking about here. When you're sitting near the ocean, that biosphere is vibrating and resonating. That ocean is bigger. It's vibrating at 10 hertz frequency. Your body mirrors it. It starts to create acetylcholine. This is the feel-good neurotransmitter. How many people like watching fires? Right. How many people have ever had a romantic getaway where you and your sweetheart are sitting there, you start the fire and you get a little frisky and 9 months later little Jimmy comes along? That's because that fire is resonating at 10 hertz frequency. It also changes your brain frequency, gets you into acetylcholine production. You start feeling good. It's not just when you're a teenager you have all these neurological conditions that cause you to fall in love and do stupid things. It happens all the time. So this is nature doing it. We can mimic nature. We can mirror light, sound, and vibration to do that. When most people think this is meditation, go to the mountaintop and do this. And I still remember going to Ames Bhopal, which we do a lot. In India, Ames Bhopal, the All Institute of Medical Science, is MIT of India. They have 6 locations. They all have BrainTap. They all have all of our equipment. They actually just renamed, on the 25th of May, they're going to have an inauguration, give me this big award, because we got Researcher of the Year in India about meditation in a country that does meditation. It's like, what? And the reason they did that was Varun, who runs the center, he said, "You're cheating, Dr. Porter." He says, "These people have to take 30 years to do this. They just put on your headset and they're already there. They're just like these gurus meditating." And I said, "We're not cheating." I said, "Do your gurus go up to the mountains and meditate?" "Oh yeah, the Himalayas, they go up in the mountains and they meditate." I said, "They're cheating." I said, "Have you ever used a candle to meditate?" He goes, "Oh yeah, all the time." I said, "You're cheating." He goes, "What do you mean?" "That candle flickers at 10 hertz frequency. You go to alpha, that's the neutral to the brain. It basically re-regulates the whole nervous system. That's why meditation and relaxation, prayer, anything that puts you into that altered state where you're not in this conscious, everyday stress, fear, anxiety state." And I said, when you go to the mountains, you're sitting in an isochronic tone generator. That's science speak for 7.8 hertz frequency, which is the Schumann frequency of the planet. The earth itself resonates at that frequency. It's our healing frequency. It's the one that we're all missing because nobody's trained to that, and you can't meditate on your own. I have measured 30,000 brains over the last 10 years. I've met no one, and I know Joe Dispenza. We bring him out to Quantum University all the time to speak. No one in America has been able to do that without our equipment, because it takes years and years and years of practice. You can go over there today, and you're all going to do it, right? You're going to go over there, you're going to go experience it. Now, I can tell you about Hawaii, and I can show you pictures of rainbows. I can tell you about the waterfalls, but what if I could take you there? That's what we can do, because your brain doesn't know the difference between real or imagined. You get to recognize the power you have, because you're not just here, you're everywhere. Consciousness is everywhere, and you have an influence. Now, you have the opportunities in the world to be in those right environments, be around the right people, eat the right foods, think the right thoughts, but life happens, and this is where they hang out. How many people know someone in your life that won't go to the mall during Christmas because it's too chaotic? Right. That's because our bodies walk in there, they start going, "Oh my God, what is this? These people are frenetic and crazy." Some of you might be thinking that during your breaks here, because it gets a little wild here, but this is different. You're here to get excited, right? Our body, we need those high times and we need those low times. If we don't have neurological behavioral flexibility. So where is your money, by the way? When Napoleon, anybody here ever heard a book called Think and Grow Rich? Right. Guess what you get when you buy the program at BrainTap? They asked me to do 17 sessions for Napoleon Hill's Foundation. There's 17 sessions on the BrainTap program that will mainline all of those principles and concepts into your brain, because it's not about what you know, it's what you apply. And it's about your brain. This is your space. Your brain is your power maker, your money maker, your friend maker, everything. Because if you leave here and your mind state isn't right, it's what you rehearse in life, not what you intend. A lot of people have great intentions. What are you rehearsing? What are you thinking about? What are you bringing about? That 6 inches is the only distance you need to really think about. That's the distance between your best relationships, your most money, how you can help the world. Because what you think you can, or if you think you can't, that's what Henry Ford said, right? If you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. The reality is that you will act out what you're most emotionally passionate about. So you can, if you're prone to being negative, let's change that. The average person out there, when you're talking to somebody, just so you understand the mindset of the person you're going to go meet when you leave here. They weren't here at this meeting. But guess what? If you get your brain tapped, you can put that on them, you can bring them here. They can have this experience. We have experiences that wake them up in the morning. That's called SMR, brainwaves. We call it digital coffee. So for those of you that don't drink coffee, you don't need to. In fact, I tell people, if you drink coffee in the morning, you have a dysregulated brain. Not that I don't like coffee, but it's your brain. Why do you need coffee in the morning? You just slept all night. What you need is your brain to wake up in that SMR training, which is that's the brainwave, by the way, guys, that as we get better looking and more intelligent with age, that's the one that atrophies. That's the one we need to work on in the morning. When you win the morning, you win the day. In the afternoon, when your temperature drops 2 degrees, Every one of you in this room, your temperature is going to drop 2 degrees at 2 o'clock. It's just the nature of what we do. At night, your temperature is going to increase 2 degrees at 2 o'clock. If your brain's dysregulated, at night it's going to go even hotter and you're going to have night sweats. In the afternoon, you're going to get hungry. But guess what? If you do your brain tap session, your Awakened Mind program, you're going to find that you're going to start regulating your life a lot differently. You're going to have sustained energy. We proved this to Kansas City Sport, which is a professional soccer team. We're in almost every professional team. But what we proved to them was after a practice, you could get more recovery by doing your 20-minute brain tap session than if you waited 24 hours to recover. You could get more. In fact, we showed them. I'm going to show you some slides up here of Ashley so you understand what I'm talking about. That in the end of that workout, they actually left the workout facility better than they arrived at it after their soccer practice. So what they did was they put in a 20-station brain tapping room in Kansas City. So when we think about that, it's important. Now, when I'm talking to you about this, I'm not just telling you, everything I'm telling you, we have research about. We are the most researched product under $1,000 in the world. Right now, as we're sitting here, 7 countries are doing research with us. 12 different universities are promoting it. We have national championships in almost every sport because the teams that use it continue to use it year after year. And by the way, our team in Seminole College, the golf team, the women's golf team, 4 years in a row national champions. They have the highest GPA in the school. So now the school is doing a school-wide brain tap research project. My first book, by the way, no coincidence, is called Awaken the Genius. Can you believe that? I wrote it in 1994. And I believe that each one of you are a genius. And I learned this from Roman mythology. In Roman mythology, they say that every one of us has talents and skills. You have a talent and a skill. In Roman mythology, they said if you use that talent and skill, they would call you a genius. It's not about math or science. It's about how are you using your talents and skills? How do you wake up in the morning and say, how can I be of service? How can I change the world? How can I make the world better? My mission is to better 1 billion brains, and I need you to do it. I can't do that on my own. So what do? I want to prove this. So what we did is we went to the top performers in Google and Microsoft, and they said, can you help us get more out of our top 1%? So think, who would like to be the top 1%? What would you like to be the top 1% of the 1%? Wouldn't that be nice? What we did was we did a research project with Julia Arndt, and you get access to this program, by the way. What we saw was they didn't think they were stressed out. We really had to push them. We said, all we want you to do is take 20 minutes in the middle of the day around 2 o'clock, do your reboot session. And we have these sessions that they listen to. We lowered over a 6-week period, we lowered their stress by 45%. The biggest shocker was they didn't even know they were depressed. These were the top 1%. They were super depressed. Their home life was terrible. Their work life was great. Their home life was terrible. We improved or reduced their stress by 71%. Their sleep quality improved 48%. They had 26% increase in performance. This is the 1%. Imagine what you're doing now. If you could increase that 26%, would that be all right? Yeah. What if you were 41% more positive? How many of you would like to just be able to take a pill and give it to some of your friends, and I want you 41% more positive? Wouldn't that be cool? That's what I'm talking about. And the nice thing is when I first started this, and I started this in the 80s, so I'm a little bit older than some of you in the room, but then when we started doing this in my clinics, my staff would say, before we accept these people as clients, can we have them do a session first? Because they totally changed. They're all negative. They're hurting. They're angry. That's the people you're going to go meet. Get them on. All you have to do with this is say, hey, you know what? Just like you can do over there. That's why we want you to go experience it. You can do that with your people. Once they feel it, at trade shows, people don't even know us. These are your friends. People don't even know us. 1 in 3 people that do that ride buy it. Would that be a pretty cool product? Yeah. That's what we have for you. Now, does it work for other things? This is a Gaylord, Michigan study I thought I would show you. We have a lot of studies, but this is one where we took, some people go, does it last, right? That's a question people go, is this something that just works primarily? In this study, we took every student in the high school that had a concussion over the course of a year. And what we did was at the end of their protocol, they did a brain tap session. The ones that did brain tap had between 30 and 70% neurological improvement 1 year later. So you're going to improve lives for life. not just at one time. So what we're talking about is changing the world, but also changing each individual life. I want to just show you Ashley, and then I'm wrapping up. Back about a month and a half ago, Paul Magistri, who's in your industry, and I hired him because he told me he took a company from 0 to 172 million in like 18 months. I went, what? There are people that do that? You know, I had no idea that's possible. I said, Paul, you're on my team. You know, I want you on my team. And he said, we're going to go down and meet these people, you know, Rodney and Ashley, and we're going to do a little scan with them. They're interested maybe in using your equipment. So I said, well, we've got to do a scan with them. So this is Ashley back. She had a 72 after, or 77. After she was done with her session, she had a 99. Pretty great improvement. She went from being 32 to being 25 years old. Pretty good, right? But what happened when she arrived here in Charleston a month later after doing brain tap every day between then and now? I told her this would happen, and it did. This is her getting off the airplane. 96 out of the box, no brain tap session. This is before she did brain tap, and she's well, you can't see it, but she's actually still 25. So her after became her before in 30 days. That's what you can experience. This is the same thing, but in the brain, she went from 77 to 97. She's actually better today than she was in her after 2 months ago. When you look at her neurological, when we got back from Brazil, we just got back, we just did 3 studies in Brazil where we beat out opioids for 3 different studies against opioids. Brain tap beat out opioids in 3 different pharmaceutical studies, double-blind, placebo-controlled studies. We beat them all. And now in Visa, which is, yeah, it's pretty cool. What we wanted to show, this equipment was designed for pain clinics, but then opioids came along in the 80s, and then we had to find other purposes for it. So now we can use it for all these other things. But the bottom is what I want to show you. How many people here know, friends or yourself, that you couldn't lose weight, you're doing everything right, you're saying, wow, I'm doing everything right. Well, the problem isn't what you're eating. The problem is what's eating you. And it's your nervous system. That bottom shows your catabolic and anabolic system. She was 110 in, 125 out. She had 235. You can tell she's got a pretty good metabolism, right? I mean, she's not doing too bad. After the session, her metabolism jumped up to 383 percentage points. When she arrived here, her daily function of that is 370 now. Pretty cool. And that's because her nervous system, your liver right now, as we're sitting here, your liver is housing 25 grams of sugar. Every time you have a stressful event, it's like eating a Milky Way or a Snickers bar. It's blocking your fat burning. But you can change that by changing your physiology and your psychology. And I've got to, those were Rodney's, but I'm done. So when you're thinking about it, Rodney, I thought it was pretty cool because he was 71, he went to 100%. We don't always see that. What this tells me is, number one, if you got the right nutrition, if you're going to ask God to build a temple, you better bring the bricks and mortar, or you're going to ask for a lot of more magic to happen. If you put the right nutrition in the body, you get moving and breathing, and you do the right brain fitness, your body is innate. It knows how to heal itself. It knows how to repair itself. Your nervous system knows how to regulate. But we have to get stress out of the equation. Think of stress as a brake that you have on the nervous system that's prompting your body to hold on to fat. And right now, that's the biggest problem we have out there in nutrition. So this is just all the different universities that are right now doing studies with us. So thank you very much for allowing me to share with you.